transcendental.
Is beyond description.
Is beyond description. Yes, good. Also, good point, Prabhu.
And you cannot understand him through neti neti, not this, not this.
You cannot understand him through not this, not this. It says he is the last word in the discrimination of not this, not this.
He's actually describing about the Supreme Lord, like what in his previous life, what he had actually understood about the Lord. He's
But I want to know what you understand from this.
He's basically summarizing.
He's summarizing how
the Lord is actually like so merciful.
And not here, but he's saying he's you can't understand this personality. Adokshaja, yes, that's a good one. Anyone else?
He's the source.
He's the source of everything, but you cannot actually define him. That's what it is. Huh? You cannot really define him. According to your elevation in your consciousness and your devotion, you then define him that way. Huh? But actually, he's not definable. In fact, it's interesting. He's not woman, man, or neuter. So most people will say, why can't God be woman? Why can't be man? He's neither, because he's not a physical man or woman. He's transcendental, actually. As it's pointed out, is achintya, it's inconceivable. But he has a personality, he's a person, he has a form, and he expands to so many things. Huh? So it is very difficult to understand. So basically, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives an understanding. This is a summary description, not complete, of the Lord's unlimited potency. So in the creation part of the material creation, then he does so many things that we cannot even understand how he's able to do it. No? That's impossible. Even when we try to understand how he creates this material body, even then we cannot understand. It's from the elements, yet it is not the elements. Remember? Yeah, it is like that. Even though it has all the basic ingredients, it is not the basic ingredient. Right? So it is kind of inconceivable. The Prabhupada writes, each and every potency is acting quite naturally. So that's another amazing thing about the Lord's potency. So this verse, Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Shruyate, you should know that verse because Prabhupada uses that quite a lot, meaning he has multi-potency. Swabhaviki Jananyana Balakriyacha. So therefore, the Lord is unlimited. And because of that, no one is equal to or greater than the Supreme Lord. And another interesting is, although he manifests himself in so many ways, personally has nothing to do. Everything is done by the expansions of his energy. So meaning, as the Supreme Lord, as Krishna, he is in Goloka Vrindavan enjoying, completely enjoying. But his energies are taking care of the situation here, many of his expansion, because his will is understood by his energy. By my will, this material world is moving, right? He says in Bhagavad Gita. So that will is understood by all his energies. Just like Rupa Goswami, right? When we chant his mantra, what do we say? Chaitanya Manobhishta, because he can understand the mind of Mahaprabhu, what he wants, like that. So similarly, once you become very, very Krishna conscious, you will understand the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada deeply. You will, it manifests in your person. In the same way, the energies of Krishna understands the will of Krishna. And therefore, automatically you think, how is it all working? It is functioning because they know. And at the same time, he says, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sachara. Under my supervision. So not physically I'm there, but they understand also that it is under his supervision. So basically, how does it happen? You don't know. You as a little kid, right? You always, I don't know. So that's our position. Ultimately, we come to a point we don't know, so we just like the gopis and gopas. They all know about Krishna, but then in the final context where they have their swarup, they don't know Krishna. So they can have that lila, right? If you know who Krishna is, then you cannot have the bhava, the emotions. It won't be sweet, right? Like Vasudev and Devaki. So it's harder for them to see Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Or Nanda Maharaj. No, he's a little boy. You all don't know. So see the difference, the mood. All right. Text 25. Jiji Vishena Humihamuya Kim. Antarbahishchavridaye Bhayonya. Ichchami kale nanayasya viplava. Sasyatma lokavaranasya moksham. I do not wish to live anymore after I am released from the attack of the crocodile. What is the use of an elephant's body covered externally and internally by ignorance? I simply desire eternal liberation from the covering of ignorance. That covering is not destroyed by the influence of time. So, what is this prayer now? How has it changed?
Before he wanted to save himself.
Yeah.
Now he's saying, I don't want to live anymore. What I really desire is surrender.
Yeah, it's like he has come to a different level of consciousness. He's not worried about, anymore about even saving him, but he says, whatever happens, I don't even want to live in this material world anymore. I want to go back to Godhead. That's what he's saying. I don't want to live in the material world anymore if I'm released. And then, of course, he says an animal's body is definitely more of ignorance. So he's making that. And his main desire now is he wants to be liberated. No more life in this world. He don't want to be enjoying anymore. Even as an elephant, this is like a demigod elephant, right? In a higher planet, he's really enjoying it. Even that he doesn't want anymore. He's come to that conclusion after the struggle he went through for how long? 1,000 years. So similarly, we are all struggling, so we should also come to the same conclusion. I don't want to go through this life after life. So Lord, please take me back to your lotus feet. Please take me back, but don't drag me. Somehow give me the intelligence that I will willingly come to you like that. Right? So he says it's ignorance, and Prabhupada very nicely he says this. This world is in ignorance because it's always in darkness, except when the Lord comes in the form of Surya. Otherwise, it's all darkness. Or when the Lord Himself manifests, it's enlighten the whole place. Now, we are also in darkness without the help of the spiritual master. So, every day you should chant this prayer when you get up in the morning and then declare that you are in ignorance. Right? You pay obeisance to your spiritual master, and then you say, you should say, Om Agyanatimirandasya Janan Janasara Chakshuranvidamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. That I am in ignorance, my spiritual master. Because of you, I know something. Okay, you kindly lead me out of this darkness. Then in the paragraph after, Srila Prabhupada is explaining, one must understand, however, that this struggle for existence is due to ignorance. Right? All our decisions that doesn't make us move towards Krishna is because of our ignorance or our understanding that not so bad. But actually, what is that makes you feel okay?
covering Purim.
Covering Purim. Avara Nadmika Shakti. Thinking you're okay. Oh, Prashapatmika Shakti. You are bewildered. Oh, okay. Right, I'm all right.
So many options.
Yeah. Everyone's okay. I'm okay. So the material energy will try to do that to see where you are. Because that's her job. Her service to Krishna is to keep us here so that we don't cheat. We already caused some problem in the spiritual world, so we are put here. So until we give up that tendency, you cannot go back. So that's her role, to make sure that we are finished with all that nonsense. Alright? Yes, Prabhu.
Guruji, is it possible to feel okay in our services also?
Meaning?
Like, yeah, I'm happy with my service. To see other devotees are happy.
See, you have to be careful when you say that. Because ultimately what is happening is when you say, I'm okay, I'm doing, it's more of goodness. I'm satisfied. Satisfaction is good, but to say, I'm okay, I'm doing everything okay, it's not enough. You have to say, I'm not tasting the Holy. You understand? So that has to be there. I'm not getting the Lord's mercy, and you cry out, give me mercy. Like those things should be there. Yeah, your service may be good, but it's not enough to be satisfied with that. Okay? So devotees should be very careful when we come to the stage of saying, oh, everything is going well, you're okay, I'm okay. That's what the philosophy is. But actually it's like more of goodness situation. It's good that you're on the mode of goodness, but mode of goodness service only will bring you to
Platform devotion service.
may not bring you to. At the end of your life, you may go to heavenly planets. And you don't want to go to heavenly planets, right?
When they come back, it'll be a big mess by then.
Yeah, or you can actually from the heavenly planet continue the service if you have the right association. Hence, you may not. Everyone is having a party every week, every day. Something like that. Or we even read, right, in this Ritumat area, how the Chandra, Siddhas, all those come there for, tourism, like that. Right, so we don't understand that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, His servant. We haven't been convinced yet. Okay, part of our problem is we haven't come to the stage of being convinced that I am actually His servant. And if you accept that, then you'll want to serve. So we haven't really accepted that we are in tandem, bouncing. Sometimes we think I'm servant, sometimes no. Yeah, so it's going up and down. So that's what it is. That eternal part of Krishna, I am part of parcel. We haven't understood that. So Srila Prabhupada says there is no need to live as an elephant or man, American or Indian, right? This is particularly for people who move to America. One should desire only to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. That's interesting the way Prabhupada says. We consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within this material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, our Brahma, no one can actually be happy. We are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. The reality is, even though it is not a continuous event, just a short-term happiness. I always give this example, right? If it's your birthday, someone says "Happy Birthday," and you're like, "Oh wow," you're so, and everyone gives you gifts, and then the next day another person's birthday, then you're thinking, man,
It's already over.
Yeah. Right? So where's the happiness? Why is it not sustainable? It has a beginning and end in the material world. So therefore, Prabhupada says there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement in this life or that. We shouldn't make a permanent situation.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes.
Because we saw Elephanta's his attitude got changed. Like earlier he wanted to enjoy, then it got changed to no, I don't know to enjoy anymore. So thinking about free will, so we have given a free will, but it is directed always towards to be servant of Krishna.
Yes, the free will is meant to be.
Free will is there, but
yes.
I can say so-called free will or apparent free will.
See, this is what you need to. Free will is not free to do anything. Free to serve
Free
Krishna.
to choose to serve.
Yeah, that's
How
whatever.
choices between how to serve.
There's only that only. Free either Krishna or Maya. So the free will is, if I choose Krishna, then I'm okay. If I don't choose Krishna, I will be suffering. Yeah.
Then that is not a choice anymore.
It is a choice. You have choice.
You're a jiva.
Yeah. The jiva has only that choice. Krishna or Maya. He has a choice. I gave this example and I think you forgot. Like, for example, you got a fan, right? Let's say you created the fan for what? So that it will blow air to keep you cool. Then you give the fan some life and then the fan say, I don't want to blow. Right? Then you say, okay, then you go somewhere else. And then the fan is unhappy. Say, why you create me and then you give me no choice. So does it make sense? Yeah, there's a reason for why we exist also. Yes. There's a purpose. We have a purpose. So therefore, when someone says, oh, God created and is forcing this upon us, no, he created like that. You know, like TV, you create, you meant to watch something, do something. But then if you give the TV life and the TV says, no, I want to go and play outside, then how? Right? Yeah, so there's a reason for everything to exist in a certain way. And once we understand that concept, then we can appreciate, yes, it's not the Lord's fault. Yeah? Makes sense. Because the other thing is he wants to have a loving relationship because he's a person like us. Just like you want people to have an affectionate relationship with you, right? Yeah, same way he has. So everything, part of him is alive. And therefore that relationship is so loving. But we deny that. And the other thing is each and every one of you has a unique relationship with Krishna. And only you can have that relationship. No two person have the same. So by not going back to Godhead, you are in a sense disservice, or not giving Krishna that he's looking for sometimes. Of course, he is Atmarama, he doesn't need it, he can somehow, but he created you for that relationship. All right? Yes.
We say that the Lord created us, but at the same time, it is said that there was never a time when.
Yeah, I think I explained that the other day.
I was not.
Yeah. You're part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is an eternal being. So any expansion from him is also eternal. So when he gives that expansion, a consciousness, then it is, at that moment it came from him, but it is also eternal. Yeah. So expansion of Krishna are always eternal. So just like this material world is eternally existing, but it manifests and unmanifests itself. So here we can see how Gajendra is saying he wants to no more taking birth again. So what is that? He doesn't want to get into this birth-death cycle anymore. And he also is telling Krishna, he's saying, destroy the lack of my qualification to approach you. It's another way of understanding. So we can also pray to the Supreme Lord and say, please destroy my disqualification or help me overcome my disqualifications. Like that. Text 26. Soham Vishva Srijam Vishvam.
Soham Vishva Srijam Vishvam.
Vishvam Vishva Vedasam.
Vishvam Vishva Vedasam.
Brahma
Shivatmanamajam Brahma
Pranatosmi Param Padam.
Pranatosmi Paramadam.
Now fully desiring release from material life, I offer my respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Person who is the creator of the universe, who is himself the form of the universe, and who is nonetheless transcendental to this cosmic manifestation. He is the supreme knower of everything in this world, the super soul of the universe. He is the unborn, supremely situated Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Prabhupada writes very nicely in the purport. Sometimes when Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, is preached to the common man, people argue, where is Krishna? Where is God? Can you show him to us? In this verse, the answer is given that if we are sufficiently intelligent, we must know that there's someone who has created the entire cosmic manifestation, who has supplied and has become the ingredients for this cosmic manifestation, who is eternally existing, but who is not within the cosmic manifestation. Simply on the basis of this suggestion, one can offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. This is the beginning of devotional life. One time, who was it? Newton, no? And his friends, they were arguing about creation and all. So then, so Newton says, "All right, you come back next day." It's about the solar system. They were. So when the guy went home, Newton actually set up the solar system. He made the model in his back room or whatever, garage or whatever. So the next day or a couple of days later, when his friend came, then he opened the door. They went in and he saw this universe, all the planets and the solar system like that. Then he said, "Who has created this?" Then Newton was saying, "Oh, it just appeared." It's like, no, but somebody must have done it. No, it just appeared. So to and fro, and finally his friend understood. There must be someone behind every cause and effect. We can't just say it just appears. So that's what Prabhupada is trying to say. If you are sufficiently intelligent, that means Alpa made us some intelligence we should have, and then you will understand there must be something that is causing this. I also mentioned how Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he was going back to Hastinapur, and then he was called back again for the die match. So then his brothers were like, "No, we shouldn't go." And he said, "No, we will go." So later on, when they asked him, when they were in the forest, they asked him why, then he explains. I notice all through, no matter how righteous we are, these things are happening. So definitely being righteous, we must experience the good fortune, not bad. So I have understood there is a higher reason for this. And so I'm allowing the higher reason to take control. Like Tattenu Kampam Susan. Let it happen and see what happens. That's an amazing insight, Most of us, we will fight that, right? So it is important for us to develop this intelligence. How? Chant nicely and read the books properly. Definitely you will become intelligent enough to understand how choices to make. All this will become clear in your life, Really, just chant nicely, focus, have sincere prayers. Then you'll see you are making advancement. Things will be manifested to you either externally or within your heart. Things will be revealed. Buddhi Yogam, the Lord from within the heart will reveal to you. And this is a choice I must make. And that's why I say if you plan to retire, you plan now. Plan before you retire. So then yes, I want to be a devotee. I don't want this nonsense anymore. I don't want to go on a cruise. Right? Most people do that. Old people, they go on cruise ship. Nonsense, And then you bring along 35 medicine. Yeah. From ear drops, eye drop, or ear, all these things. You're old. What is there to enjoy?
Devotees from all over America come to Seattle Temple. They say, on our way to Alaska cruise, we decided to stop here. They come take darshan and then they go on a cruise.
At least they took darshan. Anyway, my point is this: plan and to know that you want to give service to Krishna. Don't get bewildered and then.
I was just thinking about that when you mentioned
Hmm.
that retiring thing. I was just thinking just before you told that, I was thinking because when I went to India, I was just talking to my friends, everybody about that only.
Hmm.
They were all asking me what do you want to do, and they were all telling, "No, don't come back. You'll be there only."
Hmm.
So I was actually like debating so much. Yesterday also I was telling my wife, you should start thinking.
Yes, you should plan now so that when you're finished, you can wrap everything up and then go to the Dham. If you can do service, do that. You can preach here, like that. Yeah. Or you ask Damodar Prabhu. He said there's a lot of service he has for retirees.
Damodar Prabhu is waiting actually. The moment you retire, service.
There are some open positions. There are some open positions.
Open positions. Open positions. Krishna is unlimited.
Okay. No, it's good that you're thinking also. You should. Everyone here should think. Yeah, it's not later you think. You should think now. Then Krishna will give you the proper intelligence to make choices. Yeah. All right. 27. Yogarandita karmano.
Yogarandita karmano.
Vidhi yoga vibhavite.
Vidhi yoga vibhavite.
Yogino yam prapashyanti.
Yogino yam prapashyanti.
Yogesham tam nadosmiham.
Yogesham tam natosmiham.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, the Super Soul, the Master of all mystic yoga, who is seen in the core of the heart by perfect mystics when they are completely purified and freed from the reactions of fruitive activity by practicing bhakti yoga. Okay. Again, Prabhupada questions about why people, basically non-devotees and atheists, cannot understand that the Lord has manifested this material world. Because Gajendra, even he is an elephant, is accepting that. So he's asking them about fruitive activities, all kinds of sinful activities, nonsense, and so on. One must be free from all dirt accumulated within the heart due to fruitive activities performed one after another. Okay, so what does he say in the Bhagavad Gita? Yesham tu anpagatam papam janma punyakana. The determination will only come when you finish off with all these temporary things. That's why it starts first thing in the morning. You get up, you go. So it builds your determination. Every day you get up for Mangala Arati, you become very determined. That's one of the reasons why you should do that. Even if you don't go to temple, at least get up in your home and do some simple arati, and then you chant.
Indrajit Swami writes in his book. He has a book that called Traveling Preacher Day.
Monk.
So he traveling monk. In one of the things he says, he goes to Russia or Siberia someplace. There's a devotee who has not missed Mangalarti for 26 years, not a single day.
Yeah. Yeah, he is like, he never misses.
Radhesham Prabhu also never missed.
You see the potency, right?
Yeah.
Hanumat Krishna Maharaj had one quote also. The only reason you should not go to Mangalarati is your inability to crawl.
Right.
If you are not able to crawl, then only you cannot go to Mangalarati.
Bhaktisanta Maharaj, he says, even if you're sick, bring your bed. Then you come to Mangalarati.
Yeah. With technology, people lay in bed and watch.
Online.
That's what one Prabhuji was saying in Los Angeles temple. A lot of devotees bought houses on the same road.
Yes.
And when he asked, why are you not coming? Oh, we are watching it live on TV.
Yes. Yeah, actually, if it's so close, you should go. Otherwise, you stay at home and do it. At least get up and do it. Yeah. Most people watch Mangalarati at Mayapur from US. So they say, I already attended.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why they sing there.
Yes.
When I came
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
you
temple,
at
they were only
three,
singing
I
the
think it's,
Bhagavad
410, Guru. I think 410 they have Prabhupada Samadhi, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I
4:30
remember going at
4:30
3:45, so I'm thinking that. So then they sing for Prabhupada first.
Yeah.
Then we walk to the
main
temple.
way.
So at 4:30. All right, so Prabhupada's point is we have all this covered by these material nature's modes of ignorance and passion. There's no possibility of understanding the supreme law. At least come to more of goodness. Okay. Modes of ignorance and passion. There's no possibility of understanding the supreme law. At least come to more of goodness. Okay. Then he quotes the famous verse again. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha jayascha ye chitar itar anavidam stitam sarve prasida. So, anyway, next paragraph. Nowadays, there's so many yoga schools. So people go to yoga. This is what happens to encourage people in developing their lusty desires and greed through the practice of yoga. Right? Let my body look good, sexy, and all that. That's what people do for yoga. No more connecting to the supreme. People are therefore very much fond of the so-called yoga practice. Why? Because it increases lusty desires, body conception. The actual practice of yoga, however, is described here as authoritatively stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhyana vastita tankatena manasa pashyanti yam yogina. Right? Meditate and then you at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That's what you're supposed to do. In the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, the Bhakti Yogi constantly sees Shama Sundara, beautiful Lord Krishna with his blackish bodily hue. Because the king of elephants, Gajendra, thought himself an ordinary animal, he thought himself unfit to see the Lord. In his humility, he thought that he could not practice yoga. In other words, how can those who are like animals in the bodily concept of life and who have no purity of consciousness practice yoga? In the present day, people who have no control over their senses, who have no understanding of philosophy, and who do not follow religious principles or rules and regulations are nonetheless pretending to be yogis. This is the greatest anomaly in the practice of mystic yoga. So some people use it properly, some people misuse it. The same thing.
We had this teaching center in
Yeah.
Seattle for a little while,
Yes.
and we advertised to a lot of the yoga schools. So a lot of Western Matajis came with their little mats and sat. Then I did a little bit of yoga, some drama here and there. And then I gave a class and said controlling the sex life is the one of the goals of yoga. One lady just got up and left because she didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
That's what Prabhupada was saying.
Yeah.
I said, okay, can you eat something? Have some, trying to give prasad. She got disturbed, so she left.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. People cannot handle it. But maybe try. We try. Text 28. Namo Namastubhyam Asaya Vega.
Namo Namastubhyam Asaya Vega.
Trayaya Kila Digunaya. Namastubhyam Asaya Vega.
Namo Namastubhyam Asaya Vega.
Trayaya Kila Digunaya.
Shakti Trayaya Gunaya.
Palaya Duranta Shaktaye.
Rapannapalaya Duranta Shaktaye.
Kadindriyanam Manavapya Vatmane.
Kadindriyanam Manavapya Vatmane.
My Lord, you are the controller of formidable strength in three kinds of energy. You appear as a reservoir of all sense pleasure and the protector of the surrendered. You possess unlimited energy, but you are unapproachable by those who are unable. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. So what are these three kinds of energy? They are the attachment, greed, and lust. Prabhupada says three formidable forces prevent one from concentrating upon this field of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So people who are attached for all those kind of life, sex, desire, and so on, they don't like it. They don't want to hear about it. Greed, accumulate wealth, cheat people, take their money, lust after all kinds of things. So this greed, accumulate wealth, cheat people, take their money, lust after all kinds of things. So this prevents one from concentrating. So as a devotee, we should reduce or get rid of attachment, greed, and lust. These forces act because the Lord does not like to be realized by non-devotees and atheists. So that's another point. These forces, material energy, uses this to weed out the unqualified people. All right. So if we cultivate these qualities, definitely He's not going to allow us to come close to Him. However, when one surrenders onto the lotus feet of the Lord, these impediments are withdrawn. So you can see in your life also how much are you attached now than when you first became a devotee. There are some you're less attached in some form or fashion. You may still be greedy for something, but not as bad. You still have lusty desires, but you don't lend into it. You control yourself like that. Therefore, the Lord is the protector of the surrendered soul. So if you can fully surrender, then all these three things are gone. Right? Tasmad ekana manasa. Bhagavan satpatam pati. So He will protect you. If you hear carefully the instruction. And chant His glories. Shrotavya kirtitavyascha. De pujasya nityada. So then you can internally focus. One cannot become a devotee until one surrenders onto the Lord's lotus feet. Then the Lord gives one intelligence from within, Dadami Buddhiyamata, by which one can return home back to God. It's very nice the way Prabhupada has expressed.
Every line is a verse from Shastra.
Of course, that's how Prabhupada's purpose. So it's good to read Prabhupada's books. Text 29. Nayam Veda Swamatmanam
Nayam Veda Swamatmanam
Shakti Aham Dihahatam
Yakshakyaham Dihayatam
Duratyaya Mahatmiyam
Duratjaya Mahatmyam
Bhagavantam Mitosmi Aham
Bhagavantam Mitosmi Aham.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose illusory energy the Jiva, who is part and parcel of God, forgets his real identity because of the bodily concept of life. I take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose glories are difficult to understand. Then the Prabhupada writes, in somewhere up to the third line, unfortunately, because of material contact, the living entity forgets this and wants to enjoy the material world independently. He doesn't know that he is part and parcel, and the Lord is our well-wisher, according to his own plans. This illusion, Maya, is very difficult to sum out, right? Duratya, very true. Maya covers the living entity because of his willingness to forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead and make his own plan to enjoy this material world. So it is we who allow Maya to cover us. It's not the other way around. She will try, but then it is we who allow Maya to overtake us, our consciousness and so on. So it is we who are the source of our own suffering. Okay? As long as this contamination continues, the conditioned soul will be unable to understand his real identity and will perpetually continue under illusion life after life. Ato grihashetra sutapta vite janasya moho yam aham mameti. Who says that? Rishabdev, teachings to his sons. As long as the living entity is not enlightened, so that he may understand his real position, he will be attracted to materialistic life, to house, country or field, to society, sons, family, community, bank balance, and so on. He said this previously also, Prabhupada. Okay. It is true though, when you don't know who you are, what is the goal of life, you will only think within this material life only. That's all. It is a fact. As soon as you
even after
understand,
knowing.
as soon as you understand, then you are able to at least not be so attached. Yeah.
I was saying it is true even after knowing.
Yeah, but it's at least less
so.
or at least you know you're a fool. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Before you don't know and you act foolishly, but knowing and doing, then you know you're a fool. You cannot give up. And even to know that you are a fool is very rare also. Mostly they let it cover completely. It's like someone was saying that the matrix, when they wake up, right? All of them wake up and they realize they are in this illusory world set up by the
Robots.
the robots or whatever. And then even then one person wanted to go back into the illusion. So it is like that. Sometimes we cannot handle the truth so much that we want to just be covered perpetually like that. But it's a lot of suffering. Why do we want to suffer? Text 30.
As we were coming from Nagar Sankirtan, and two boys from our congregation, they were discussing the Matrix movie. That's how I know this story. So even after Sankirtan, they are very much attached to Matrix.
That's okay. It's good to know something so you can preach to people. Text 30. Sri Chukavacha. Evam Gajendra Upavarnita Nirvishesham.
Evam Gajendra Upavarnita Nirvishesham.
Brahmadayo Vividalinga Vidabhimanaha.
Brahmadayo Vividalinga Vidayimanaha.
Naite Yadopasishupu Nikilatmakatva.
Naite Yadopasishupu Nikilatmakatva.
Tatra Kilamaramayo Hariravirasi.
Tatra Kilamaramayo Hariravirasi.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. So the prayers have finished from verse 2 to 29. It's the prayers of Gajendra. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. When the king of the elephants was describing the supreme authority without mentioning any particular person, he did not invoke the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, and Chandra. Thus none of them approached him. However, because Lord Hari is a super soul, Purushottama, the personality of Godhead, he appeared before Gajendra.
So just like Lord Vishnu touches Dhruva so that he can say the prayers, did the Lord have to do anything to Gajendra, or is it spontaneously?
From the heart he reveals to him. Attasmiti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So it's a different, slightly different, but he touches him anyway. Yeah. Purport. From the description of Gajendra, anyway, here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains how the demigods were thinking, he didn't call me. And they were like, we will not go. Let's see if he dies or not. Like so he says that way, but let's see the purport. Prabhupada says slightly differently. From the description of Gajendra, he apparently was aiming at the supreme authority, although he did not know who the supreme authority is. He conjectured, right? The supreme authority is above everything. Under the circumstances, the Lord's various expansions, such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Chandra, and Indra, all thought, Gajendra is not asking our help. He's asking the help of the Supreme who's above all of us. Prabhupada writes it in that way, very nicely. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, they were like, let him, get through and he probably will die. And then later on, a few lines down, Prabhupada writes, Harim Vina Naiva Mritum Taranti. No one can rescue anyone from the dangers of birth, death, old age, and disease. Right? One time in Vrindavan, Bhagatji, I think Bhagatji, Prabhupada's right? he invited some magician. So then they came to Prabhupada's room to one magician. He came to do some magic. So then they went to tell all the teachers and the Gurukul boss. So they all came running to see. So then the magician started doing all the magics. Then he showed the coin. Then he makes the coin disappear. Then he started, going behind Prabhupada's ears and take. So then Prabhupada kept laughing. But the disciples were all very unhappy because the magician was making fun of Prabhupada. So he was doing all this magic. Then he opened a box, colors were coming out, different ribbons, different box, all. So Prabhupada laughed, and then at one point, Srila Prabhupada, stopped him. Then he said, can you stop birth, death, old age, and diseases? And then he was doing all the tricks. He stopped and sat down in front of Prabhupada. No problem. And Prabhupada said, I can do that. Yeah. So Prabhupada said that. And then Prabhupada preached to him, gave him some prasadam, and then thanked him for the tricks. Yeah. Just amazing, So when I was reading that, I just remembered that nice. But no one can rescue except a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada. Yes.
Prabhuji, the way it's written here, it says that he conjectured and he didn't know who.
Yeah, at that because of his bodily situation, he couldn't understand who the Supreme, but he knew due to the Lord's mercy that there's someone supreme.
Then how did the prayers come? 'Cause
The Lord allowed him to remember. We'll come to that.
Next chapter.
Yeah.
But he's very specific in his prayers,
Yes,
right? You're
yes.
the master, you are the creator,
Yes.
no one is above you.
So the whole prayer from his previous life was revealed to him. So he prays.
Is he muttering without really realizing?
Yeah.
He is surrender. He's saying, I'm surrendering.
Yeah, so
So he's
It's
not
clear.
muttering.
Is it impersonal prayers?
Huh?
Impersonal
No, he
prayers?
knew that. So he's
It's
not
clear.
muttering.
Is it impersonal prayers?
Huh? No, he knew there was someone there. Yeah. So it's a very special personality, and we will appreciate him more and more. Yeah. It is only the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can rescue one from the who is always in connection with the Supreme. Therefore, an intelligent person, to get free from this dangerous existence, approaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not any demigod. So Prabhupada is making the case for Gajendra approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, saying that he's intelligent enough to understand not to worship demigods. Of course, he quotes the verse, Kama demigods is for temporary benefits only. And Krishna says they are less intelligent or unintelligent. Yeah, Rita. Yeah. Actually, however, these demigods cannot rescue the living entity from the dangers of material existence. Of course, if you ask them for eternal life, or you ask them for immortality, or Krishna Bhakti, you can ask, they can bless you. But otherwise, they cannot offer you. Because even when Hiranyakashipu asked Brahma, right, I want immortality. I myself am going to die. I can't give you that. Yeah, it's like that. Like other living entities, the demigods are merely external parts of the Supreme Personal Godhead, transcendental body. They are actually administrators of the universe. Demigods, this principal demigod, they are administrators. They're given a specific function to take care of the needs of the living entities within this universe. Yeah. So then in the paragraph after, Prabhupada talks about the tree and the roots. And he says, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because he is the original root of everything. Everything is coming from Krishna. Although he is very difficult to approach, Prabhupada says, he is very dear to us because he lives within our hearts. So you can imagine, if you are a pig, you are a worm in a stool, the super soul is still there. It follows you. So therefore, he is very, very merciful. Very dear to us. So we have to understand that Lord is actually beyond our comprehension. We will say no and walk away. The Lord is no, I will be with you no matter what you go through. As soon as someone surrenders, the Lord immediately takes all actions to bring them back. He makes all the arrangements, right? You can see for yourself when you decided to become Krishna conscious, what changed in your life, right? You saw things that changed favorably and things that were hindrances you can identify very clearly. So that is how it is. Therefore, although the demigods did not come to the aid of Gajendra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately appeared before him because of his fervent prayer. This does not mean that the demigods were angry with Gajendra. But actually, when Lord Vishnu is worshipped, all the other demigods are also worshipped. Yashmin tuste jagatustam. If the Supreme Personality of God is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. And that's true, what Prabhupada says here. That's very true. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says they were kind of envious that they didn't pray. Text 31. Tam tat vadartam upalabhya jagan nivasaha. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadhi. Chando mayena garudena samuyamana. Chakrayudo vyamarashu yato gajendraha. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who lives everywhere, and prayers to him, carrying his disc and other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier, Garuda, with great speed, according to his desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. The Garuda can fly according to the Lord's desire, the speed. It's not ordinary. Okay? He's a resident of Vaikuntha, Garuda.
But I think the previous verse said because Lord Hari is the super soul Purushottama, so it was not the super soul manifested just like in Dhruva's pastime.
What is your question?
The previous
You
verse.
say you think.
Previous verse is because, and as you mentioned, that
Means
started
he
this-
knows the desire of Gajendra, super soul. in
Right.
the heart, yeah.
No, but what I'm trying to say,
No,
the
this
brain,
Hari is different.
In incarnation, it said in the
Yes,
previous
we
verse.
discussed this previously. Who is this Hari? He is the child of Harini, one of the descendants of the Manu. Yeah. So he came to please his universe. Yeah, yeah. But not in that form as you are thinking. Not in that form. It's a different form.
So this is not the original Vishnu, but this is a partial Amsha, okay?
No, partially. He's flying on Garuda.
So,
It's a different expansion.
Vishnu also has many expansions.
Yeah,
isn't it, in that
you all should know, no?
This is a specific expansion.
Yeah,
Hari's son.
Hari's son. He's different. Yeah,
And
not
he
the
has-
super soul.
And he has the Gada and Chakra.
Yeah. But in
Vishnu.
different position, no?
Okay.
there's 64 combinations or something.
Something like that. If you read, as I told you all, if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Sanatan Shiksha, there the Lord gives the different combinations where Narayan can have his Sankha, Chakra, Gada, all the same, good Atma. In different position, he is known by different names like that. And even there can expand. Yeah. So this is one of the expansions.
So when Bhakti Maharaj took us to Dwarka, there is one form of Vishnu, normally Vishnu, 2 up, 2 down. So 1 up and 3 down. So that form of Vishnu is also there. They said that 800 years ago, that deity swept ashore from the ocean. So there must have been some islands where the worship was going on. That deity came and then they erected the deity back again and started worship for 800 years. Worship is going on.
Yeah.
Well, one question. So, I don't know if we call it folklore, we find that Krishna comes in different forms. So, can we accept that, or it's just?
What do you mean?
Sometimes they say that. Some
Krishna comes You have to see what form it is. Yeah. Every form is mentioned in our scriptures.
Some of them are only in Sthal Purans.
It must be in the scriptures.
Yeah. They're like more like Upapuranas, not really.
Still it's in the
18
scriptures.
Puran. Yeah.
So we can accept those.
Yeah, as long as it's in the Purana scriptures, the description.
But we can't accept anybody who say anything like
No,
that. They
that's
could
why
just
we have the
make
scripture.
them
No.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
we-
one guy with the afro hairstyle was saying he was Krishna and all, right?
That was
But
wrong.
it's no. Yeah. It's
So
like
we-
one guy with the afro hairstyle was saying he was Krishna and all, right?
That was
But
wrong.
it's no. It's read through in the previous canto that it has to be in the scripture.
That Afro hairstyle person, when he was on the planet for 18 years, there were no rains in Anantapur. Once he passed away, rains returned. So he was so sinful that rain stopped.
Who is it?
Afro
Okay.
hairstyle is Sai
आपका
Baba.
वही बड़ा
Okay, let's go to the purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically hints that since Gajendra was in such a difficult position and was praying for the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods who could have immediately gone to his rescue hesitated to go there. Since they considered Gajendra's prayer to be directed toward the Lord, they felt offended. And this in itself was offensive. Consequently, when the Lord went there, they also went and offered praise to the Lord so that their offense might be excused. They felt bad that they committed the offense. But yeah. So, but the amazing thing I was saying is Garuda could fly at the speed according to the desire of the Lord.
Even Hanuman can fly like that.
Hanuman also can do that. Yeah. 32. Santa Sarasya Urubalena Grihita Arto
Santa Sarasi Gurubalena Grihita Arto
Swagarumati Harimka Upatta Chakram
Drishva Garutmati Harimka Upata Chakram
Ukshipya Sambuja Karangiramaha Krishram
Uksipya Sambujakaram Giramaha Krisham
Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste
Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste.
Gajendra had been forcefully captured by the crocodile in the water and was feeling acute pain. But when he saw that Narayana wielding his disc was coming in the sky on the back of Garuda, he immediately took a lotus flower in his trunk and with great difficulty due to his painful condition, he uttered the following words, "O my Lord Narayana, Master of the universe, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you." So when he saw, he became so happy. Even the pain didn't stop him. So he picked the lotus to offer. So that's why you come to the temple, you cannot come empty-handed. You have to bring something, flower, fruit, or something. They said in the Nectar of Devotion. The king of the elephants was so very eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead that when he saw the Lord coming in the sky with great pain and in a feeble voice, he offered respect to the Lord. The devotee does not consider dangerous position to be dangerous, for in such a dangerous position he can fervently pray to the Lord in great ecstasy. Right? We should never, somehow or other, we should always be focused. Thus, the devotee regards danger as a good opportunity. Tattena kampam samikshamana. When a devotee is in great danger, he sees that danger to be the great mercy of the Lord because it is an opportunity to think of the Lord very sincerely and with undiverted attention. Tattenu kampam samikshamano bunjana evarma kritam vipakam. Does not accuse the Supreme Personality of Godhead for having let his devotee fall into such a dangerous condition. So, how many of us are guilty of that? Why you put me in this situation?
Immediately we start fighting.
No, I'm saying I do that also. Sometimes I say, why Krishna, you make me go through this? But I will do it. I'll go through it. I will go through it like that. Rather, he considers that dangerous condition to be due to his past misdeeds. So then you have to say like that, okay, I'll go through it. I understand it must be something I've done in the past. So you talk like that, and then next time you don't accuse the Lord.
So when two devotees fight, both devotees are appealing to Krishna. Krishna, why are you putting me in this trouble with this devotee? The other devotee is also playing the same
Yeah,
role.
so then they should come to a conclusion that the Lord is the protector of both of us. So why are we fighting? Right? That is the intelligence. Not that I will fight forever. Like that's nonsense.
So, Prabhu, we understand that devotee thinks it's because of my past misdeeds that I'm in dangerous condition. But why does Lord put devotee in dangerous condition?
To get quickly purified.
Mm.
For purification.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that they can finish off and go back to God. Alright? When a devotee lives in this way, his salvation is going back home, back to Godhead, is guaranteed.
Haribol.
Okay? So whatever situation you're going through, difficult situation, turn to the Lord, and accept your situation. That's what he's saying.
Many times it helps to actually become dependent.
Yes.
in
And
those
then you
situations.
find the problem goes away.
Hmm.
Because it's just the Lord testing to see.
Temporarily it is
Yeah.
painful,
And
but
also it gives the problem in
Strength
such a way
to
that we
face
can
it.
handle it also.
Yes.
Kind of not
Not every time.
just
go-
enough to handle. Not
Just
less
enough.
of-
Okay. So anyway, Prabhupada is saying, back to Godhead is guaranteed. We can see this to be true from the example of Gajendra, who anxiously prayed to the Lord and thus received an immediate chance to return home back to Godhead. You can see, Prabhupada is saying it is a fact. It will happen if we can cultivate our consciousness properly, like that. Text 33. Tam vikshya piditamaja sahasa vitirya.
Tam vikshya piditamaha sahasa
Sagrahamashu sarasa kripayojahara.
Sagrahamashu sarasa kripayojahara.
Vipatita mukhadarina Gajendram.
Rahadipatita mukhadarina Gajendram.
Sampasyatam hariramu mucharuchriyanam.
Samsasyam hariyamu mucharuchriyanam.
Thereafter, seeing Gajendra in such an aggrieved position, the unborn Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, immediately got down from the back of Garuda by his causeless mercy and pulled the king of the elephants along with the crocodile out of the water. Then, in the presence of all the demigods who were looking on, the Lord severed the crocodile's mouth from its body with his disc. In this way, he saved Gajendra, the king of the elephants. Jai!
Haribol. So crocodile also got liberated.
Thus end the Bhakti and the Purpose of the 8th canto, 3rd chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says a lot when he got up the Garuda, he didn't even look at the demigods. It's like, you guys didn't even do anything. And the demigods are all like, Lord, look at us.
Our prayers can be long, but God's action is swift.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
When the Lord decides it'll happen. But when He wants you to go through something, then you can go through a long purification.
That sloka in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhavamina Chirat Parthamayamishita Chetasam, comes very swiftly.
No.
8th chapter or 7th chapter.
Yeah. Swiftly it comes to
Chirat means not long.
So we'll take a break, 10 minutes like that. And in the next chapter, we'll find out about Gajendra and the